Recording in progress.
Good morning, Drew. Dick Santos.
Hey, I just got on Linda. How are we doing on head count?
Recording stopped.
What's that, Drew?
I'm saying to Linda. Hey, Linda, you out there?
Morning.
Hi, Drew. Linda is not going to be with us right away. What can I do for you?
Hey, Michelle, do a head count for me. Have we got quorum yet?
Let me do a quick.
Good morning, everyone.
We got Howard coming through right now.
I think it's issuer. I think I saw Franco.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a quorum.
All right. Let's see. I get my agenda out here.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. And we start, as always, the roll call. First on the list is Andrew. He texted Roberto and I about a half an hour ago. He's on duty, and he said with all of his fellow workers out on COVID, he might come in and out, but we shouldn't count on him. Sunita, are you here?
Just joined. Connecting to audio.
Okay, Howard, are you here?
I'm here, Drew.
That's great. Ashfar, you're here, right?
Yes. Yeah. Happy New Year, Drew.
Happy New Year to you, brother. Dick, you're here, right?
Yes.
Franco?
Here.
Well, thanks. And Dave, are you here?
Yep. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to Dave and Franco. I'm Chair Lanza. I am here. Sunita, let's looping back. Are you here now, Sunita?
Yes, I am.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's great. We have 7 out of 9 members, and let me hang on. Gotta look at the agenda. I think we've got a closed session this morning. According to this, we go straight into closed session. Roberto, right? Sound good to you?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
All right. Whoever's driving, go ahead and take us into closed session. I'm saying to myself in my mellifluous tones, we don't have to wave sunshine on anything. Maytac Council reminded us we've got a meeting right after this, and we've got that internecine meeting where we give ourselves 30 more days for state law. So we're going to aim to end this meeting at 11:30, and I'll sort of keep track of time in the background, let everybody know how we're doing. Right now, I don't see any impediment to making that target, but I may rush us along through something. I don't think we'll have to. It's a pretty short agenda. I remind everyone that we're over Zoom, so we have a slightly different protocol. For things we're going to take a vote, we'll go round robin to see if there are any comments. We'll go round robin to take the vote. In general, feel free to jump in, interrupt. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now. We've had no problems with that. My other boards do. So don't hesitate. Just go ahead and jump in and interrupt the speaker if you have a temporal question. If you have something that's more high-level strategic, you can sort of wait to the end. I'm looking at this to make sure I got it all. Did I miss anything, Michelle? That's kind of it, right?
Yes, perfect.
Great, thanks, Michelle. All right, we are on to item 1, consent calendar. Does anybody want to pull anything or make any comments on anything in the consent calendar? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve by Santos.
I have a motion to approve by Dick. Is there a second to the motion?
Second by Lee.
I have a motion by Sanchez, second by Lee. Going around the room. How do you vote, Sunita?
Aye.
Howard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Eshvar, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dick?
Yes.
Franco?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And I am Chair Lanza. I vote aye. That's approved. On to item 2. Over to you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning and Happy New Year to all trustees, staff, and consultants. We will keep our investment section brief and to the point. The only item we have today is an approval of some revisions that we've made to the investment policy statement, which was actually approved by the IC in December. But before we get to that, as always, pro forma performance. These are unaudited numbers. As of January 4th, fiscal year to date for the pension plan we were up 5.16%, and healthcare trust was up 2.46%. Of course, this does not take into account the terrible day the markets had yesterday. But with that, I'm actually going to go on to, unless anyone has questions, I'm going to turn this over to Laura to talk about items 2B and 2C.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. It's nice to see you all virtually. I have just some brief, mostly sort of procedural, nothing changing in terms of strategic or risk language in the investment policy statement, which is up on your screen. So, it's best practice from a fiduciary standpoint to review your investment policy statement regularly. And we always tend to catch, a few small wording issues and that sort of thing in addition to some updates that are always needed whenever there are asset allocation changes and that sort of thing. So the first real change in this red line version is on page 6. As you know, commodities were added back to the strategic asset allocation. So we've added that back to the list of approved asset classes and their purpose in the plan. The next material change is on page 14, which goes into concentration limits by manager or by strategy. And so you can see on 14 that we've changed management firm concentration to strategy concentration. We think that makes sense because there are some management firms where there are separate teams running separate strategies. You can also see under public markets, you had active strategies excluding hedge funds at a 10% limit and then hedge funds at a 10% limit, which was a bit redundant. So we've removed the hedge funds line. Now we just have active strategies and have changed them to a 15% instead of a 10% limit, which we think is reasonable for your investment risk planning. The other slide with some material changes is on page 26. So on page 26, we always update regularly benchmarks when there's changes in availability. And also you updated your asset allocation. So these targets in Appendix A needed to change. So you can see some target changes. This just goes along with the asset allocation that you adopted during the year. Under the asset class benchmarks, you can see that we're removing LIBOR. LIBOR is actually going away as an option. Eventually, it's been in process for some time, and that is changing to SOFR. So you used to have LIBOR 3-month, that was essentially a cash benchmark, and now we're changing that to SOFR plus 1.5, which is a bit harder to beat, but we think reasonable. We've talked about some of these benchmark changes in the past as well. You might recall that for core real estate, we used to have a equal weighted benchmark. We recommended changing it to a cap weighted benchmark, which is more commonly used. Under the treasuries, the long-term government bonds, essentially the Bloomberg Barclays US long treasury is the same benchmark as the Bloomberg Barclays US long 10+. It's just easier to get the data for the one versus the other, and it's essentially the same thing. And then you can see under the LCPP, the low cost passive portfolio asset class benchmarks, then the third column under immunized cash flows, you can see the removal of the ICE Bank of America Merrill Lynch 3-month T-bills and the insertion of the Bloomberg Barclays government credit 1 to 3 year, which again is harder to beat. So we think, these definitely aren't changes that are motivated by trying to look better relative to the benchmark, since they will be slightly harder to beat going forward, but we think these are the most appropriate benchmarks. And with that outline of some brief changes, page 27, the next slide just has the commodities allocation and commodities benchmark, which, as you know, was added recently. But those are the suggested updates, and these were approved by the investment committee recently. We have this sums up the pension IPS changes, and then we have some suggestions that are similar on the healthcare trust as well.
I would recommend we do discussion and action on item 2B before moving on to 2C.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go. I'm not going to do round robin. If anybody has any questions on this before we vote, just jump in.
I do have a couple of clarifying questions.
Jump in.
I think it's the first change you have in here, remove the approval by the board, and I was wondering what motivated that.
That's mainly motivated by the fact that it's reviewed annually, but doesn't necessarily always make sense to bring it to the board if there aren't edits. And so this says, rather than saying it will approve, it just says it will be reviewed at least annually. If there is a year where there's not an asset allocation change, or the removal of the benchmark or something like that, it might just be reviewed by the staff and or the investment committee.
The other question I had was on, I'm not sure I understood on page 14, change in description when you say strategy. Were these concentration limits intended for each manager? And
so
what does it mean to change it to strategy?
It's a good question. A manager versus strategy is a little bit squishy. For example, you have 2 Artisan global advisors strategies. Artisan is sort of a boutique of boutique structure where they have separate investment teams that are completely autonomous and don't really rely on broad organization for anything. So for example, that's an area where each strategy is independent, and so we think it makes sense to have them be considered separately for concentration limits, rather than the firm as a whole is not holding your assets, they're in funds, and so it makes sense to consider strategy rather than manager for that sort of thing. And you're not bumping up on this for much as the plan grows, though. Again, this is just to sort of give you flexibility.
But I wonder if we're making it, not to nitpick, but the wording too broad. Shouldn't it be strategy by manager or something like that? Because strategy couldn't strategy mean, maybe I'm overthinking this, but
Yeah, I think it's a valid question. I think whenever your staff is looking at a new manager, it's something that's considered of, is this too much with one manager? I think that's something that's part of the process that won't be impacted by this language. But if we were to have a scenario where, for example, one of your active managers, one of the key people left, and in the short term, you wanted to transfer those assets to an existing strategy while you search for someone new or something like that, this just gives your team the flexibility to do that.
so let me just work through a scenario, because I know these policies can trip you up, and maybe Prabhu or someone else can make sure that this is not going to trip them up in the future. But so let's say you had, in your example, actually, it sounds actually too restrictive, because if you had a artisan, is that the manager you mentioned? I forget.
Mhm.
Okay, but let's say you had a artisan strategy where they had a commingle fund for 15%, and then will you be bumping up against another fund you might be investing in? Is that the intention, which had a commingle fund with a private strategy of 15%?
So these percentages are of the total fund. So I don't think that they would be
Oh,
too
okay.
restrictive. If it was 15% of an asset class, then that would be a concern,
Makes
I think. But of the total fund, that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, that helped me. Thank you. One last question, which is on the benchmarks. On 26. You know what? I lost my train of thought. I think I'm okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Something else?
Floor's still open. Any other questions for Laura? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 2B.
So move, Santos.
I have a motion by Dick. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I've got a second by Sunita. Let's go around for the vote. Sunita, how do you vote?
Aye.
Howard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Shar, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dick, how do you vote?
Yes.
Franco, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dave, how do you vote?
Aye.
This is Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. That carries on to 2C.
All right, thank you. Jared Pratt, my colleague, is going to discuss the healthcare suggested edits.
Thanks, Laura. Good morning, everybody. Basically similar edits here on the healthcare trust side, so I'll just pause where there are some red line items. So similar to how commodities was added to the pension, you see investment grade bonds added here at the bottom of page 4, and then long-term government bonds added at the top of page 5, just because those were new asset classes introduced with the most recently approved asset allocation. So same as commodities for the pension. Moving on here, similar idea here on page 10 to change the active strategies limit from 10 to 15%. That also aligns with the vehicle level commingled fund active limit that was already there. So more consistent and more flexible to make that change, same as the pension. And then finally here on page 11, you see the new asset class targets that were adopted back in the spring of last year, as well as new benchmarks there in the third column. And then on the very bottom, same as pension, just some slight tweaks to the mix of certain benchmarks, or clarifying that MSCI benchmarks are net, that type of thing. So all in all, very similar changes versus pension. That's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, floor is open generally. Any questions? Going once, going twice. You want this one approved too, Prabhu?
That's right, Mr. Chairman.
Great. I'll entertain a motion to approve item 2C.
Santos, so moved.
I do have a second.
Sunita, second.
I have a motion by Dick, second by Sunita. Let's go around the room. Sunita, how do you vote?
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Shwar.
Aye.
Dick,
Yes.
Franco,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Mr. Chair Lands, I vote aye as well. Is Chiron online?
Yes, I think Bill is online, Mr. Chair.
Bill, are you out there, brother?
Yeah, I am.
Hey, let's go and do this, Bill. You've got two items on the agenda, 3A and 4C. And Roberto said, why don't we just go ahead and take those? Let's pause as we did after 3A, and then you can go right into 4C. So if you need Ann or anybody else to get on, you let them know what the timing is.
Okay,
Over to you, Bill.
sounds good. Let me get the right screen up here. All right, there's for item 3A, there's two items in your packet. One is the PowerPoint presentation, and the other is the full valuation report. I'm just going to go through the PowerPoint, but we can take any questions you have on the full valuation report at the end. As I've done the last few months, just keeping track of our schedule of presentations here. We're here today with the final pension valuation results and the draft Oped valuation results. We'll be back in February with the final Oped valuation results. I understand Siegel will be back in February with their audit results for the pension plan, and then their audit results for the Oped plan in March.
That is correct, Bill. Right now, that's the schedule.
That's the schedule for now. Last month, we presented the preliminary results. They look very similar to these. There was one change. In our final peer review, we figured out there was an adjustment to the new beneficiary mortality table that was entered into our system incorrectly. We've corrected that. It added about 14 million in liability out of the 5.2 billion. So it's just a little tick on these numbers. The chart here shows the liabilities as a stacked bar. The blue is for people currently receiving benefits. The gold is for people who are no longer working for San Jose but are entitled to a benefit in the future. And the red portion of the bar is for the active members. The lines show the assets, with the green line showing the market value of assets and the teal line showing the actuarial value of assets. So on a market value basis, we went from 71% funded to 87% funded as of June 30th, 2021. We smoothed those gains in over a period of 5 years on the actuarial value. And so the actuarial value only increased from 74% funded to 77% funded. On the right-hand side, you can see the individual numbers by tier on both market and actuarial basis. I think the thing I would note is the tier 2 liabilities are still very small compared to the whole system. So it's really all driven by tier 1. But tier 2 is about 124% funded right now with the investment returns. And tier 1 is 77% on an actuarial and 86% on a market value basis. These two charts are showing the contribution rates in aggregate and contribution amounts, the rates on the left and the amounts on the right. You'll see that the purple bars represent the member contributions and the city normal costs. Those are the costs of benefits attributable to the current year of service. And comparing last year to this year's results, you'll see the city amount went down a little and the member amount went up a little. That's primarily reflecting the change from tier 1 membership to tier 2 membership, where the overall normal cost is lower, but the members are paying 50% of it. The big change this year due to the investment returns is this interest on the UAL. So the city's contribution pays the normal cost, and then they make a payment on the UAL that we split between the interest on that unfunded liability and a principal payment, paying it down. And we calculate that interest on the UAL based on the market value of assets. And so that dropped significantly in the last 2 years, which also means that the portion of the city's contribution, since we smoothed to determine the total contribution, much more of that contribution is going to pay down the actual UAL. The city's contribution is dropping from 87.4% to 81.5%, dropping from about 217 million down to 212 million. I would note, out of that 212 million, 106 million, about half of it is to reduce the principal on the UAL. We haven't had that situation in quite some time. We've just been paying a sliver down the principal. So that's a significant change this year. We showed this last month, that it's going to be a recurring theme for a while, where we have smoothed the assets. The market value is 4.7 billion, but the actuarial value is only 4.2 billion. And we developed the contributions based on the 4.2 billion. And so that means we've got $500 million in deferred investment gains that we haven't recognized yet. And that provides a pretty significant cushion going forward against adverse experience. So we're going to look at that in particular in this presentation. To get started, we've shown this chart several times over the last several years, looking at the actual amortization payments scheduled for Tier 1 for the being paid by the city. And in general, the gold bars represent payments on gains and losses that we experience, and the purple bars are assumption changes. And so we've got a mix of golden and purple. There's also a couple benefit changes mixed in green. And the line represents the net payment that we're projecting forward. The thing that we've added here is these light gold are the deferred asset gains and how we expect them to come in future valuations. And so this whole area of this light is the deferred amounts that we haven't recognized yet in this valuation. And they are what are really driving this downward trend that we expect in the contributions. Now, those are still just expected trends, and they could reverse with different experience. But we're going to take a look at that a little later here. Right now, looking at our baseline projections, on the left side,
Bill, you're on mute.
Yeah, Bill, for some reason you jumped on mute there. Still on mute, not sure why.
can you hear me now?
We sure can, thanks, Bill.
Sorry about that. Let me tried using that space bar. One more. So here we're showing our baseline projections and the actuarial liability is the gray bars. The green line is the market value of assets. The teal is the actuarial value. And so you can see if all of our assumptions are met, the actuarial value catches up to the market value in 5 years. The funded percentages here we're showing are on the market value basis. So 87% now, we get to 100% on the baseline projection in 2029. We overshoot a little bit and end up about 103% funded. On the right-hand side, we're just focusing on the unfunded liability. So really the difference between the green line and the top of the gray bar, or the teal line and the top of the gray bar. The dark bars are the mark based on the market value of assets, and the lighter piece is the additional amount based on the actuarial. If you look historically, those relationships are reversed, I'm sorry. The unfunded based on the market value is actually higher in the past. But this shows how much of that chunk we are expected to recognize over the next 4 years until they get back to the same amount, and how that progresses forward to 2029. And again, if all assumptions are met. On the contribution side, we've got rates on the left, dollar amounts on the right. The purple bars are the member contributions, the gold are the city, and the blue line shows our projection from the prior valuation. So you can see there's quite a change from the prior valuation, recognizing the exceptional investment returns. That change really is reflected in the next 5 years, where we are stepping down the contributions as the actuarial value of assets recognizes all of those gains. We already had this kind of steep decline that was out there a few years, because we're getting near the end of paying for some of the past losses in our amortization schedule. So that was already baked in. The exceptional investment returns have just accelerated that process significantly. So those are the baseline projections, what we expect if all assumptions are met. But we know that doesn't happen. And so we want to talk about the sensitivity. And every year we have mentioned to this plan the issue about plan maturity, and that mature pension plans are more sensitive to risk. Now, in the last year, our sensitivity to risk worked in our advantage. We got a lot of mileage out of the exceptional investment returns because of our maturity. But that works both directions. And so what do we mean by that maturity, and how does it translate? Well, we've shown this chart in the last month, and we show it periodically and every prior evaluation, where we look at the ratio of retirees and inactives to the active population. And the idea is, at some level, the active population, the payroll, the contributions on their payroll from the city have to support both the active benefits and the inactive benefits. And so the higher this ratio, the more sensitive you are to those sorts of changes. Well, what has happened to this system is we've had kind of a natural growth in the number of retirees that was accelerated somewhat in the Great Recession, but it's fairly typical in terms of the growth of the number of retirees. What really accelerated the maturation of this system was, in the Great Recession, the active employment dropped. And we're still about 15% below the active employment from 2021, or from 2010, I'm sorry. So we have leveled off and to a certain extent have started to increase that employment level slowly. But at the same time, the retirees have grown. And so this support ratio grew rapidly during the Great Recession. It's now somewhat stable, but still relatively high. The other two measures we really looked at, because they affect it directly financially, are the liability leverage ratio and the asset leverage ratio. The liability leverage ratio is simply the actuarial liability divided by payroll. And the asset leverage ratio is the market value of assets divided by payroll. And the police and fire plan is shown here with the black diamonds, and San Jose as a whole, combining police and fire and federated, is shown in the gold diamonds. Compared to the bars are the range that we see in the public plan database from the 5th percentile to the 95th percentile. It's about 200 large public pension plans across the country. And so you can see that our liability leverage ratio and our asset leverage ratios are off the charts compared to other plans. Now, normally these leverage ratios are higher for police and fire plans than for general plans, which is why we added the combination here so that you could see what it is on the sponsor itself. But it's still very high. And so what that means is on the liability side, if you have a leverage ratio of 20, and we make an assumption change that changes the liability by 5%, that change is equivalent to 100% of payroll, 5 times 20. And we have to amortize that as a percent of payroll. Now, we're not going to do the full 100% of payroll in 1 year, but over a period of time, we have to pay off 100% of payroll. If your liability leverage ratio was only 10, that would only be 50% of payroll. So it would be much more affordable for that same change in assumptions that caused a 5% increase in liability. We've most frequently seen this with assumption changes, with discount rate changes. So we'll show you that impact in just a second. On the asset leverage ratio, this is really showing your sensitivity to investment returns immediately. And it's the same sort of scenario. If you beat or miss your expected investment return by 10%, and you have a ratio of 10, that's 100% of payroll. At 20, that's 200% of payroll. And we're approaching 20 for the police and fire. And so that really swings our amortizations. Now, we smooth that effect and we amortize. So it takes some time for that to hit us, but that's the impact. So one way we looked at trying to get a sense of those is just comparing this is what we showed earlier with the contributions, members at about 13% of pay and the city at 81.5% of pay. But what if we had reduced the discount rate by 100 basis points? Now, we would never suggest reducing it by 100 in 1 year, but just to give you the impact, that would increase member rates by 4% of payroll. And it would increase the city's contribution by 26% of payroll. So it's a pretty significant impact for a 100 basis point change in discount rate. Now that change, you'll note, changes every single component here in the contribution rates. It changes the normal cost, it changes the interest on the unfunded liability, and it changes the amount of the principal you pay. On the right, we're showing the impact of a big investment loss. So we look at two standard deviations compared to our assumption. So that came out to about a minus 19.5% investment return. We're expecting the city contribution rate to drop from 81.5% to 72.3% next year. But if we had that loss, it would increase to 81.1%. That's because of all the smoothing we're doing, that it only goes up that much. The place that it really shows the volatility is that interest on the UAL would go from 12% up to 43%. So we would suddenly, much less of our contribution would go to paying down the UAL and more of it just to paying the interest on the UAL. And the UAL would be much larger. And then as we smooth in those asset losses, the contribution rate would go higher. Those rates do not affect the normal cost or they have a minor effect on member contributions because of tier 2, but don't affect tier 1 member contributions. So we wanted to show a few other projection scenarios and look at the sensitivity. And part of it is to understand in the immediate term how much that $500 million that we haven't recognized helps us. So on the left-hand side here, we're showing the contribution calculated in this valuation as a dollar amount, and on the right-hand side as a rate of pay. And comparing it to what would be the contribution in the next calculated in the next valuation for a full range of investment returns from a positive 30% to a negative 15%. So you can see what the impact is. The diamond in the center here is what we expect it to do. So that's if we get 6.625%. And like I said on the prior slide, we'd expect it to drop to 72.3. That's dropping to about 194 million from 212 million. So a pretty significant drop in the city's contribution expected.
Bill.
Yeah.
Quick question, just so that, not only members can understand, but for clarification. When you refer to expected rate of return, are you referring to the actual market rate or are you referring to the actuarial rate of return?
The expectation is for a 6.625% return on the market value of assets.
Okay, so these estimates are based on if we earn 6.625 on a market rate, that would be the contribution. And if we made 6.625, the actual return will be higher, right?
It would be.
Okay, all right. But these numbers are based on the 6.65 in the market.
These numbers here are at the bottom are the return on the market value of assets. And then the smoothing has its effect on the contribution.
Okay.
And because of that, what I think is interesting here, we have a very strong downward pressure on city contributions in the short term. If we get a return that's better than negative 13.5% and all other assumptions are met, the city's contribution amount will go down.
Okay.
And even with a negative 15% return. If all other assumptions are met, including payroll growing at 3%, the city's contribution rate would go down from 81.5 to 79.6. So it'd go down almost 2% of pay, even with a negative 15% return. So that's to give you a flavor of how much we have in the bank with those deferred asset gains and how that affects our contributions in the short term.
Thank you.
Now, each valuation, we've given projections on a stochastic basis, and we'll get to those, but we thought it might be more illustrative to look at a couple deterministic scenarios so to get your head around the range of potential contributions going forward. So we used Makita's 10-year capital market assumptions and looked at the range of returns over 1 year and over 5 year. And we just picked, we created 1-year shock scenarios using the 95th and 5th percentile returns. And then year kind of moderate scenarios looking at 9.6 and 1.9% returns. So here we're expecting over a 5-year period, about half the returns would fall between those. And here we're expecting 90% of the returns to fall between those two scenarios. So these are not meant to be realistic scenarios, but to give you a sense of the sensitivity of the returns. So we've got these 1-year shocks followed by the assumed rate of return, and then the 5-year moderate followed by the assumed rate of return. And so on the left side here, we're showing the city's aggregate contribution rate across all, across both tier 1 and tier 2. And the green, well, the blue line is our baseline, and the green lines are the positive scenarios, the 1-year shock or the 5-year moderate. And the red lines are the negative scenarios, the 5-year moderate negative, 1-year shock negative. I think what's interesting is there's, in all these cases, you're seeing downward movement initially, and even in the negatives, in the 5-year moderate, we go down quite a bit before we go back up. And the peaks that we're getting in these scenarios, which only run 1 year or 5 years, are still below what the city's paying this year. And there is this just really strong downward trend. And the positive scenarios have it drop very quickly. Now, the reason we end up with just kind of this lower limit here is in these scenarios, the plan is becoming fully funded, and we have a minimum contribution of the normal cost. So all of them are hitting that. All the positive scenarios are hitting that down here. Now, tier 2 members pay 50% of the UAL. So their contributions also move around, but we wanted to show you, it looks here like they're moving a lot, but you need to pay attention to the scale. The scale is quite different here. Essentially, almost all of them fall between 14.5% and 15.5% of pay. So it's a potential swing of 1% of pay in the near term for tier 2 members, based just on investment returns. So here's our stochastic projections. And we've shown these before, and I think the analogy has been drawn to a fire hose. and the spray, because we don't really know exactly where it's going to go. We have a general idea, but there's this potential spray around where contribution rates may go. What's changed is this year that hose is pointed downward. So we can still have rates that go up, but the predominance of rates is going to drop, at least initially.
So, Bill, probably not a fair question off the top of your head. That looks almost like a 2 sigma phenomenon for raising. What, off the top of your bill, what percent probability would you guess it is that they're going to go up? 1 in 5, 1 in 6. It looks pretty remote.
It does. It is pretty remote. So, you know, I think next year, 2024, it's a very remote possibility that they would go up. But when you get out 5 years, you're getting to something more in line of 1 in 10 or something like that.
Yeah, but that's 1 in 10 is you take that to Vegas any day, all day long, right?
Right. So
that's not a fair thing to ever ask an actuary, is it, Bill?
Yeah. So, you know, the returns we've had are going to bring us, you know, there's a strong pressure to bring us down. And then there's volatility around that landing point with future returns. And so getting us all the way back to where we've been, it takes quite a bit. So we're much more likely to come down and land somewhere in the 60% of pay range.
Does that final thought? I have really 2 questions here, Bill. Does that imply to you that we should get more conservative so that we decrease the probability of bad news? Or as you said, gosh, you get around 90, 95% funded, things change. I mean, does this imply to you a change in strategy, Bill, or does this sort of say hold the course for a bit? Or is that a fair question?
Well, I think that's a real policy question for the board. But as we approach 100%, you'll notice there's a floor down here. So you start getting to the point where good investment returns don't change your contributions in the near term, but bad investment returns do. And so would it make sense when you start approaching that to try and do something to take these bad returns off? Now, I think this is something that we should maybe do at a retreat to talk about some possibilities, because this shows you one of the problems that we have to address. And I have some thoughts on how to get around this, but the traditional way to do it would be to make your investments more conservative, which would also reduce your discount rate. Well, forget these gold bars here for a moment, because when we get fully funded, there won't be any gold bars. We'll just be doing these purple bars. But when you do that, if you drop the discount rate by 100 basis points, you're increasing the member rate by 4% of pay and the city rate by 7% of pay. And if you're fully funded, is that what you want to do? So I think we need, and we can't get the rates below the normal cost rate because that's fixed as the minimum in statute. So we need to think about how different strategies might work to manage those negative risks. And I think we would probably like to manage those negative risks. And so one possibility I've been working with but have not implemented for anyone and would need to work closely with your investment people over it is a mechanism where we could bifurcate the valuation and isolate a portion of the in-pay status liability that might be matched up with a fixed income portfolio.
Oh, this was just about to get good. Don't tell me you lost Bill. Oh,
Looks
Bill, can you
frozen.
hear us? Oh my God, this is really good. Shoot, I was getting excited.
That may be a way of a higher power telling us this is too much actuarial stuff.
Already saw Harvey's hand up and it got frozen.
What Bill's kind of suggesting is sort of what I'm an old guy, it's what my pension does, right? You know, I've got some piece that's putting food on the table and paying the electric bills, some of which I earned from previous companies I started. And then I got the rest of my portfolio where I'm actually playing the game. Harvey, go ahead, jump in. Oh, you're on mute, Harvey.
I know I'm on mute. Most people prefer that. Thank you.
You're on mute too, Bill, but Harvey's going right now. Go ahead, Harvey.
Okay.
Bill, could you put that? I'm glad, Drew, I'm glad you asked that question. And Bill, I'm glad you put slide 12 back on the screen because I wanted to ask you about that. Could you pop that back on? There you go. So
I don't know if you, before you jump real quick, before you go, Harvey, I don't know if you heard me, Bill, but I said, yeah, that strategy's smart. That's the way I run my own damn pension now that I'm an old guy. So go ahead, Harvey.
Okay. So this slide shows these two charts as independent variables, as two different scenarios, one focused on the sensitivity of the discount rate and the other sensitivity to an investment loss. And then I wanted to ask you about the interdependence of these two because of these two charts, because a board decision to take risk off the table, for example, by intentionally dropping the discount rate and therefore taking some risk out of the portfolio, not dropping the discount rate because the market forces, the market returns don't support it, but a conscious decision to change our investment mix to, as I'll say colloquially, to take some risk off the table. That would have a direct impact on the likelihood of the other chart happening, the likelihood of a 2 standard deviation loss. And I'm wondering whether or not you could demonstrate for the board, not today perhaps, but at a retreat or whatever, demonstrate the interdependence between those two things to show, while it's true that if we were to drop the discount rate, the pressure would be on the city's contribution rate going up, that it would take risk off the table and make it highly unlikely that we would have those outsized 2 standard deviation losses. Does that make sense? And is that something that you think that could be demonstrated so that even someone like me could understand it? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't change the likelihood of a 2 standard deviation loss, but it changes the size of a 2 standard deviation loss. So, if our standard deviation is 14% now, that 2 standard deviation loss is 28%. If the standard deviation drops to 10, that 2 standard deviation loss is only 20%. So it would absolutely affect this chart. And so we would need to work with Makita to get the trade-offs between the expected return and the standard deviation and how that works with the capital market assumptions. But that's certainly something we could do. I think the approach I was trying to get at would have a similar effect without reducing the discount rate on the portion that we use to calculate the active contribution. And so it would by default, by structure, essentially get us a lower standard deviation on the total portfolio, but we'd be kind of bifurcating our view of that portfolio. So there would be a lot of details to work out with that strategy, a fair amount of coordination with the investment side to make sure we could do it. I have some thoughts on how to make that easier, but that's why I think it would be good to do it at a retreat and allow some time before that to work with Prabhu and Laura and others to come up with an actual strategy on how we could implement it. I think the question for the board would be, do we wait till we're 100% funded to start implementing that? Or do we want to look at some sort of glide path into it that might start somewhere before 100%?
We always sort of said, Bill, 90% is kind of a magic number. Does that match what you sort of gut tells you?
Well, I don't think there's a magic line that you cross. It's not a bright line.
Yeah.
And so certainly I think anywhere in the 90% range, it would be reasonable to start thinking through the glide path approach.
And Bill,
I don't
would
know
you do that?
if that's where the board would want to implement it or not.
And Bill, would you do that kind of 90% averaged over 3 years, 4 years? I mean, instantaneous sounds a little too hinky to me.
Yeah, well, I think that's the sort of thing that we'd want to work through the details on and really get engagement from the board and look at the impacts in different scenarios and decide.
Yeah, maybe, Ashrar, I'll reach out to you after this meeting. Maybe this is something to turn over to the investment committee and Prabhu. Thanks, Bill. Keep going.
Yeah, makes sense.
I do think, we're at 87% now, but if the market behaves like it did yesterday, this discussion could be moot for a while. So it's something we need to monitor and think through what the best approach would be. So we wanted to show tier 1 versus tier 2 on these stochastic projections. And I set the scales to be the same so that you could get this sense. And the main point here is it's still all about tier 1. That's where the volatility is. That's where the assets are. The tier 2 is growing very rapidly, but it's very small right now. And so the volatility in investment returns does not have much impact because the liabilities are growing, the payroll's growing, all of that's going on there. So really all this volatility discussion is really about tier 1 right now. Then to kind of lead to that discussion we were getting to about what happens if we just continue this path, what are we seeing in terms of the UAL and funded status? This is just looking at the UAL. Of course, we project this nice smooth path to 2029 where we get fully funded and stay fairly close. But the volatility around that is significant. And one of the things to note here is there's less volatility of the UAL going up because when the UAL starts going up, we increase contributions to pay it down. So that helps create kind of this limit to how much the UAL can go up. That's assuming the city can pay all those contributions. On the other side, if we just kept the same policies in place, we get to a limit where contributions are 0. And if we continue to have good investment performance, we can just develop this huge surplus that provides a cushion against future contributions, but there's no immediate gain to it because the contributions are stuck at that normal cost And then just to look at the probability from these stochastic projections of being 80% funded or higher, or 100% funded or higher. There is a possibility of getting to 100% next year. It's not huge, but over time, given our contribution structure and investment structure, that probability increases. We're currently over 80%, but there's also the probability that we drop below 80% with the investment volatility. But it levels off at about 75% probability of being 80% or better funded. So that's all we had for this presentation. There are some details in the appendix here on the contributions. There's also the full report that has a lot more tables of detailed numbers and so forth. So take any questions you may have.
Yeah, go ahead. Floor is open for questions for Bill. I know we're asking questions. If anybody wants to jump in, go ahead, jump in.
Mr. Chair.
Dick.
Dick Santos, as per our conversation, I have to leave. I want to say hi to everybody, the best, and to all our retirees, and unfortunately some of them who've passed, the best. I got to go to, unfortunately, a funeral. So with that, goodbye.
Happy New Year, Dick. Floor is open. Anybody want to jump in?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sunita. You
No,
go
go ahead.
first.
You
No,
go,
you sure
go
you
ahead,
go.
Sunita.
I'll always
Go,
go first.
go ahead,
so I'll-
Sunita. No, go ahead. I'll follow you.
Okay. I guess maybe this is in the same lines as what Drew was asking for before, but given the the fantastic reserve of this 500 million that we have, so to speak, how do we preserve that to reduce our risk profile in the future? I mean, by the way, I thought this is fantastic. I think this presentation is really superbly done, and a lot of my questions are sort of, feel like they've come to light, so to speak, in answers. So I'm just wondering if that's sort of something you thought about, the 500 million, how to make it a reserve that continues to be there.
So it's just it's not really a reserve, except in our actuarial funding method of smoothing out the investment returns. We just spread it over 5 years. So the plan here would be to recognize it over the next 5 years, which is what's driving the contributions down. That gives us, if the market immediately reverses course, that gives us some comfort that contributions will not have to go back up. So thinking of it in terms of the city's budget processes and so forth, what we don't want to do is immediately drop the contribution down to 45% of pay and then have a bad return and have to go back up to 80. So the way we're deploying it right now is to use it to gradually step the contributions down in case the market reverses itself in the next few years. We have not explored other options for how to use it. We could look at the amortization. Let me go back up to that. So the other way we're using it is once we recognize it, we amortize those gains as a reduction in contribution over 15 years. And so that's what each of these little bars is. And if we wanted to save more in reserve, we could stretch that amortization period out. That would have the effect, though, of increasing contributions in the short term. So given how high the contributions have been, I think it does make some sense to just follow what we're doing right now and get some gradual relief to the city. But at some point, there is the question of can we reduce some of the risks and use the funded status here to reduce those risks while keeping the contributions at a reasonable level. And I think that is kind of the next frontier. We need to explore some possibilities for that. And that's the kind of thing I was just talking about bifurcating the portfolio as opposed to just reducing the discount rate and adjusting the investment structure.
Hey, Bill, you sort of, let me just jump in, Steve, then back to you. You sort of said, but think about talking to other people. Are other pension funds in a similar circumstance after the record returns of last year?
Yeah, to varying degrees. So for Federated, they're not as well funded, and so they didn't get as big of a bounce out of the investment returns. And largely what they're seeing is instead of projected increases in contributions, the projection is now flat. So they're not getting this decrease. One of my other clients, they're now 112% funded. And so it is creating a much steeper drop in their contributions. And another one, they're like 102, 103% funded. And, you know, they're debating whether they want to continue down this type of downslope or if they just want to drop everything down to the normal cost right now.
Back to you, Sunita.
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps my question, thank you, Bill, that was very helpful. I think it sort of ties into what you asked before, should we take some risk off the table? And given how much this board, before my joining, did such a good job of moving swiftly when the market was down, it sort of certainly begs the question. I'll leave it to the investment committee to, I guess, debate that. Just one last thing, Bill. Do you mind sharing, just for my own sort of intellectual interest, the stochastic process that you, or assumptions you made on the analysis, just on the side, yeah.
Yeah, I think in the report, we disclose the standard deviation, which I think is 13 point something, and we assumed a geometric return of 6.625 with that, and we used a log normal distribution. Our model treats each year as an independent, identically distributed return, which is a fairly simplified model. I think a lot of
we don't. We'll probably bore people if we get into this now. Okay. Know, I'm sure you and I can.
But the idea of our model is to illustrate the potential volatility, and I think it does that over that short period. So there are some details in the report, and if you'd like to discuss them, just let me know.
I'll look at the report carefully. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Over to you, Howard.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Bill. I thought it was really interesting work. Enjoyed the presentation, and I agree with what everyone has talked about in terms of taking risk off the table and when that has to be evaluated in the threshold. And I think it's going to be an important decision. I actually do have a question on the stochastic analysis, not technical, but if you can go back to slide 17 real quick. And I hope this is a fair question, Bill. What's been the sort of the trend of using this analysis of all the volatility in the blue, going back historically to when you analyzed prior circumstances? In other words, if you can roll back a few years, what were the results like in terms of between the 95th and 25th percentile? How did that look in historically, and then just sort of get a sense of how tomorrow might look like.
Yeah, so you can get a sense of the direction it was pointed by looking at these historical rates. But if you just go back a couple of years here, or even last year, it was pointed much more directly out. And so you get actually a wider range because the good returns on the bottom side were not limited. So the range still reached from down to around 20%, but I think we went up above 130% of payroll on the high end of the risks.
Okay. So I guess in general, would you say that in terms of like the dark streak in that cloud was, if we had done this analysis, in 2015 or whenever that was, did it track? Did the analysis track to roughly to where it went eventually?
Well, so last year the dark streak would have followed roughly this 2020 projection. So it was much more straight out, and then there was a bend down instead of being pointed down with a similar spread around that. If that helps.
All right.
And so if you go back a little bit, there was always this downward trend starting out here around 2029, because that's when we paid off some of the prior investment losses.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks. Yeah, very good work, Bill. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve these final pension. In fact, I'll make the motion. I move that we approve these final pension valuation results. Do I have a second?
Second, Trustee Lee.
Great. Motion by Lanza, second by Lee. Let's go around the table. Sunita?
Aye.
Howard?
Yes.
Eshwar?
Aye.
Franco?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
I'm Chair Lanza. That carries. Let's take slightly out of order. Bill, let's stick with you. Why don't you go ahead and do 4C. Over to you, Bill.
All right. Let me hold on a minute here. Get the right presentation up. Okay. So this part, we're presenting the preliminary actuarial valuation results on the Oped valuation. And I have Mike Shenning with me. He's our healthcare actuary, and he's going to help me with this presentation. Just quickly start out. We talk a lot with the Oped about the explicit subsidy and the implicit subsidy. The implicit subsidy is the cost of the retiree healthcare that's above the average premium rate. So it gets paid as a part of the city's active health premiums on a pay-as-you-go basis. The focus of the board is on pre-funding the explicit subsidy, which is the premium subsidy provided by the Oped plan. So we are really focused on just that explicit subsidy in this presentation. The funding mechanism for the Oped is slightly different or slightly more complex, I guess, than the pension, in that there are two different trusts. So the employee contributions go into the 401h account within the pension trust. and are invested with the pension assets. And then the city contributions go into the 115 trust. And there are separate 115 trusts for police and for fire. So that's one of the differences here. The other thing to keep in mind is we talk about adjusting the valves for the contributions, changing the level of contributions. For the OPEB system, the employee contributions are fixed. And so we do not adjust those. Those are set in statute. All of our changes simply change the city's contributions. So other than that, it's relatively analogous to the pension, although it is much smaller than the pension. So the numbers here are much smaller. Here we have a similar chart to what I started out with the pensions, showing the liabilities in blue, or in the bars, the in-pay liabilities in blue. The gold are the people who no longer work for the city but are entitled to a future benefit. And then the red is the active. We just track the market value of assets for the OPEB plans. And so the pension or the police OPEB plan went from 32% funded to 40.5% funded. And the fire OPEB plan went from 28% funded to 39.5% funded. So the funded ratios are much lower than the pension plan, but the dollars are also much smaller. So the unfunded liability is relatively small compared to the pension. The contributions here, the member contributions have been going down. That's because we're a closed group for making member contributions. It's only members who can be eligible for full benefits from the OPEB plan that make contributions. And as those members retire, the member contribution will go down. And we're seeing it go down. The gold is the city's contribution for the explicit subsidy. We're projecting it to remain relatively level. If you compare that to the projection last year, we had projected it to increase. And so we're getting something more analogous to what I described for the federated pension, where we had projected it to increase and it's leveling off. That's driven by a couple of factors, but significantly the lower funding levels in the plan. The normal cost is the cost of benefits attributable to the current year of service. That's just slightly above the member contribution. So most of the city contribution is going to pay off the unfunded liability. And the members are covering most of the normal costs. There's a small normal cost for the city, especially since we reduced the discount rate from 6.25% to 6%. So that's the other thing that has kept the contributions level this year. We'll turn it to Mike to take us through the rest of this.
Okay, so on this page, we're just showing the changes in membership between the police is on the right or on the left and fire on the right. And you can actually see this really shows the decline in the number of members who are eligible for the full benefit as they retire. It's dropped by 10% for police and 5% for fire. But those that are eligible for the catastrophic disability benefit, which are the remainder, actually went up by quite a bit, 20% for police and 12% for fire. So that overall, the actual police membership has increased by 3%, and the fire is down slightly. And then we show the number of deferred vested, which are unchanged for police, and it went up percentage-wise a lot, but from 1 to 3 for fire. And then we have those that are actually getting the benefit currently went up, which makes sense because basically it's the people that are no longer contributing. The actives for full benefits essentially move into the retiree category. And then you can see the full member payroll that's really used to develop the payroll for purposes of the member contribution drops, which you expect because the number of people dropped, but the total payroll is actually up almost 7% for police and 2% for fire. We go to the next slide. You can actually look at the actuarial liability total. So we start at the top, and again, the liability for the actives has gone down for police, and it's basically flat for fire. And that's really a function of the fact that premiums didn't go up as much as we expected them to. Those in deferred vested, again, is fairly flat, with the exception of fire, which went up because they essentially went from 1 to 3 members in that category. And then the liability for the existing retirees went up by 5% and was actually flat for fire versus we would have expected it to be more in the range of 8%. So in total, we take it all together, get essentially really good news. So even with the drop in the discount rate, the overall liability went up by just under 2% for police and essentially was unchanged for fire. And so then we build in the impact of the significant increase in the assets due to the really good returns last year. You can see that overall the unfunded liability dropped by 11% for police and 15% for fire, which shows the impact of this fairly significant increase in the funded percentages for the plans of right around 10% for both of them. And so this actually shows where that whole change. So again, the total UAL decreased by 59 million, but what was the actual source of everything? And a big piece of it was the investment returns that were much better than expected. And the other piece of it that was good was the liability experience was better than expected, which again was caused primarily due to premiums not going up anywhere near as much as we expected them to. We then had some slight decreases. The total contributions made were still not quite enough to cover the tread water amount, which is really the increase in the unfunded liability due to interest, but it's really small. So we're getting to the point where actually we're starting to significantly make contributions greater than what's needed to maintain the level of the UAL. So we'll continue to decrease. And then 29 million due to some assumption changes that were around some of the changes and demographic assumptions needed to be consistent with what they're done with the pension plan. And it really, again, for purposes of Oped, it really shows the volatility is really due to more so the liability experience, investment experience than anything else, which is very different from the pension plan. So if we go to the next slide, this actually gives us kind of an historic picture over the last 5 years as to, overall the UAL decreased by $76 million. And we actually had a $93 million decrease due to liability experience, which is premiums lower than expected over that period. If we actually took this back another 5 years, so like back to 2012, it would actually flip the other way because we had years where the premiums were actually higher than expected. So it just goes to show how volatile it is with premium projections, which are really hard to do with healthcare. We actually then had a $53 million reduction due to the benefit changes that what happened in 2017 due to Measure F, the implementation of the VIVA, and all of those program changes really dropped it. Overall, we actually had 27 million due to investment gains. So we actually had positive investment experience over this whole period of time. We did have an $11 million loss due to the asset method change because we essentially, when we moved into the new programs and the plan became closed, we went from using smooth value of assets like we do for the pension plan to just using the market value. So therefore, we kind of had an immediate recognition of prior losses. We still had some increases because historically, again, the contributions haven't been enough in the tread water amounts of the UAL had been growing. And then we had 70 million due to assumption changes. And those are mainly due to the decreases in the discount rate that have happened over the last 4 or 5 years. The next chart really shows where's the liability coming from. And the dark blue, the blue numbers are the actual retirees that are in pay. The yellow number, which you can hardly see, are those small number of vested terms. So people who've left the city can come back to get a benefit at some point in time, and then the actives. So it really shows that almost 70% of the liability is associated with retirees who are actually currently getting the benefit. And the other interesting issue is, from a long-term point of view, 2/3 of your benefit is really associated with the benefit they'll get paid while they're eligible for Medicare. And only 27% is the benefits pre-Medicare, and then a small amount for dental. So kind of overall, think of it as the liability is really being driven by the retirees. And on a long-term basis, it's driven by what happens in Medicare. So as changes happen in Medicare over time, if that really has a major impact. So, as Medicare costs continue to moderate, that actually has a positive impact on liability. If something happens and Medicare benefits really start to take off in cost, then that's going to have a negative impact on liability. The next page is the summary of what the contributions amount. And this shows, again, if we start from the top to the bottom for the explicit subsidy, the total contributions for the members go down, and that's really just a function of, as they retire, there's less members, and since their contributions are fixed, you have less members, you're going to get less money. The city's contribution is actually going up slightly. It's going up for fire from 11 million to 11 million, essentially, is a difference of about $60,000, so not much. And then the fire or the police is going up by about $700,000. So again, fairly minor increases. When we compare it to the city's estimated cap, again, last year, the contributions were $500,000 to $600,000 above what the city's optional cap. We're really getting much closer to the cap this year, because again, the city can cap its contributions to the plan. They've chosen so far not to, and hopefully that will continue to happen as long as we can keep it close. And then we show the implicit subsidy piece of it just to show it. So as Bill said, that's being paid for by the active members for their premium. And that actually declined slightly for fire and increased slightly for the police. But as you can see from a total kind of contribution point of view, it's not really a significant number. So again, good news for the city as well here. The contributions are fairly flat over what they were last year. So next slide is fundamentally that's that. And this is really just, again, no action is really needed on this. It's more to let you know what's going on, and we come back at the next meeting with the final results.
So with that, we take any questions. Keeping in mind, as Mike said, these are preliminary results, and we'll be back next month with projections and final results.
Thanks. The floor is open, and I noticed when I looked through the crowd, we've got 2 folks that aren't members of the board or city staff, Joe and Radhika, journalists. I welcome you. The floor is open. If you folks have any questions, jump in too. Floor is open. Anybody got anything? Going once, going twice. All right, I'll make the motion that we approve the.
Chair Lanza?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to make a clarification here. I believe Mr. Hallmark said that these are preliminary numbers and that they will be coming back next month with the final for approval. So there's
thanks. Thanks. I just noticed that. Yeah, it says discussion, not action. So we received that. Good job, Bill and company, and we're fine with that. Prabhu, why don't you go ahead and do 3B, and then we'll take a 5-minute break after you're done with that. Thanks for catching me on that, Maytag.
No worries.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what 3B does is requesting, let me just take a look at this. Yes, is for the board to approve a budget to hire compensation consultants. So just by way of background, the JPC met last month, and this is an ongoing project in terms of looking at the compensation levels of both the investment team and the CEO. And we were told that the JPC has the authority to hire compensation consultants, but the board has to approve the dollar amount, the budget for the JPC to hire these consultants. And just by way of background, the last compensation study was done, somewhere around 4 or 5 years ago. And so we did discuss a couple of different options. One was McLaughlin, who is acknowledged as the industry leader in compensation consulting. And the JPC also looked into the idea of perhaps looking at incentive compensation plan for the investment team. And the other firm that we considered was Koff and Associates. Trustee Sunzeri, who resigned from the board last year, was actually in extensive discussions with Koff up until the middle of last year, especially to look at the benefits package for the CEO. And it was decided that more data points, more data is better than less data, and therefore that we would actually hire multiple consultants, and at least 2 in this case. So we took this to the federated board last month. At that point, we had not got back proposals from both McLaughlin and Koff, and the federated board approved a dollar amount of not exceeding $150,000 to hire these 2 consultants. And this is, of course, an upper number. And after that, both McLaughlin and Koff came back with proposals. McLaughlin, of course, is a very comprehensive proposal, including the creation of an incentive plan. And their proposal came in at $70,000. And Koff and Associates was an extension of the work that they were doing, and that they came in just under $20,000. So the actual amounts that they proposed were about $90,000. So we approved, so the Fed board approved 150,000, and you can approve the same amount or a lower amount given the fact that we know that both these consultants came in at 90. It'll be nice to have some room in case there's some additional work that the JPC wants them to do. So that's really the synopsis of that, Mr. Chairman. We don't need action.
Just to add, just to add to that, I just want to make it clear to the board. I think it may be helpful to approve the 150 just as federated to keep it consistent and provide some flexibility as Prabhu suggested. But I want the board to understand this is a combined cost. So it's not 150 per plan, it will be combined. So the total amount will be shared by the 2 plans. So if it comes to say 120, then it will be paid 60 by one plan and 60 for the other, just so that is clear.
Good point, Roberto. Thank you.
Let me jump in. So for those of you who've been on the board for a while, when we did Measure G a couple of years ago, that gave us some good autonomy over our staff, Roberto, Prabhu, and Barbara, our CEO, CIO, and CAO. The quid pro quo with the city was that they still got to approve raises and stuff like that. And since that time, in fact, the whole reason why the Joint Personnel Committee was set up was to eventually, and by the way, this was with the mayor's approval and the council approval, said, yeah, why don't we run in that mode where you kind of have training wheels on for a couple of years, and then, come back in, well, about now, right, 5-6 years, then we'll take training wheels off. But, in conversations with some of you and with Prabhu and with Roberto, I'm not sure that's the right thing to ask for. And you can sort of see it here in Prabhu's pitch. I know in talking to Federated as well, to Anurag and to the folks there, the right thing may not be to ask for more autonomy from the city, but as Prabhu suggests, to set up an incentive compensation system and to continue to give the city oversight on that. We don't know yet. This is all very nascent. And in fact, what Prabhu is asking for is a budget so we can work with professionals who know. McLaughlin, it could be you read their proposal, so they can tell us what other systems do. As Roberto's often pointed out, and then, you know, Drew, we're going to come up with this great idea, and then depending on who gets elected in November or in June, this whole thing may hit a roadblock. So I would ask the board to approve this. It's really kind of a fact-finding thing as much as anything else. And then a couple of, as Prue says, we have to update the numbers. In any case, in fact, we probably should have updated them a year or two ago, but I think the pandemic made that kind of work hard. So floor is open if you have any questions for Peru or for me or for Roberto.
This is Howard. Just one quick question, and I think it's a great idea. My question is there a particular reason why the cycle was what was the last one, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, you mean why was it done 3 or 4 years ago?
The question is it should it be done more frequently, or what was the reason for that duration between reviews or analyses for you know, market rates and things like that?
I think that's certainly a policy question for the board, but I can tell you the rationale behind the last COM study is the board ensued in a search from a new CIO, and that's how the board ended up selecting Prabhu Palani. And so the compensation study at the time was that was the basis for the study, even though it also included the CEO position and investment professional positions as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Roberto.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one actually. So what dollar amount are we seeking from this board in terms of authorization?
It's $150,000, Maytag. That's for the study, and it will be split among both plans.
And you can give us the summary of what the budget looks like from the attachments so far, Prabhu.
So it's 70,000 from McLaughlin and about 18,000. So just under 20 from COF for a total of about 90.
So we're asking for 150, but the number looks like it'll be 90. Great. Does that answer the question, Maytag?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, firm up the numbers for the motion.
Yeah, we wanted to, you know, I asked Prabhu if we should vote on less, but let's mirror what Federated already voted on. Just keep it simple. I'll make the motion again. I move that we approve up to $150,000 by both us and Federated for the studies that Peru has outlined. Is there a second to that motion?
Second, Votto.
Thanks, Franco. Let's go around the room. Sunita?
Aye.
Howard?
Yes.
Eshvar?
Aye.
Franco?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Mr. Chair Lands, I vote aye as well. I'm showing it's about 10:31. Let's take a 5-minute break. I'm going to grab something to eat. And let's come back at 10:36, everybody. get back to it. 4A, over to you, Roberto. Unless Roberto's not here. Oh, over to you, Roberto. You might be on mute. All right. Let's see. Pam Foley, are you out there? I see
Yes,
you.
I am.
Why don't you go ahead and jump in, Pam, and we'll wait. Oh, is Roberto back on? Roberto, are you on? Go ahead, Pam. You jump in and we'll get to Roberto after you.
Okay, great. Happy New Year, everybody. Really interesting reports today. I love hearing all of the information and the data and some of the positive things. I know the market went nuts yesterday in the wrong way, and that's just a sign of the volatility. So appreciate how you're all managing that. Just some updates. We haven't had a city council meeting yet, but it has been a month since my last report, so I wanted to give you some information. You know, COVID is really affecting us all, and so we have delayed coming back to the city from until July or January 31st or February 1st. So we're actually, our staffs are staying away from City Hall at the time being. Permitting is being done virtually, and some of the other functions that were in person now are virtual for the time being. Redistricting, we're almost done with redistricting. That was as a result of the census, we had to balance out the representation in the districts, and that will be done at the next council meeting. Also, we do have a study session next Friday on the budget. It'll be a preliminary discussion on the budget. So it's actually really good to get your idea or get the read on what might be the unfunded liability effects on the general fund, as that has a tremendous impact. The other thing coming to council next week is the Charter Commission has concluded its work, and one of its recommendations will be to move the mayor's race from to be connected to the presidential race, which means we need to take that to the vote of the public, and so that will be submitted on Tuesday. We'll vote on it. If approved, then it will go on the ballot, and that means the result will mean that those 6 or 7 people running for mayor right now will only have a 2-year term and then have to run again in 2024 for a 4-year term, and potentially 2 4-year terms. So it could be 10 years for a mayor potentially. We have moved, because of COVID, we've moved back to virtual city council meetings. That will be on the 11th. And whether we continue will really depend on Omicron and how pervasive it is. And we know how easy it is to pass. And I would encourage you all to get your booster shots if you haven't. The city will be looking at imposing booster requirements on its employees. And of course, exemptions are in place. And also in our facilities. Remember, we passed a regulation several months ago requiring those entering any of our facilities with a capacity of 50 people or more to be fully vaccinated. And now that will be a booster shot will be required in that as well, although that has to be approved by City Council on the 11th as well. What else can I tell you? I think that's it for my report. Considering we haven't had a meeting yet, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I hear you, Pam. Happy New Year to you. Floor is open. Any questions for Councilwoman Foley? If not, we'll go back to item 4A. Over to you, Roberto.
Great, thank you very much. I'm still here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to everyone, and a happy and healthy new 22 year to all. I think following up on the Councilmember Foley comments, the Office of Retirement Services actually has pause is return of employees to work on site. We had anticipated starting the year with 2 days a week, welcoming employees back. And given the latest variant and increases of the COVID-19, we paused that plan. We will keep you posted. We'll continue monitoring the situation, and certainly I will reach out an email communication to the board with any updates on that plan. But that said, the office remain closed, but we are still open for appointments and for drop off, and we are trying to schedule virtual meetings with members as well. We had a number of staff that were actually going to the office 1 or twice a week, but we have had a couple of employees that either has tested positive for the new variant or have been exposed to people that have tested positive, and so the number of employees going to the office have decreased considerably. Nevertheless, again, as things develop, we will keep you posted. As you know, the year just ended last December 31st. That means that we need to issue the 1099-R for all our benefit payments. And obviously, we're working on that process. And again, we expect them to be issued and delivered by the end of the month. The guaranteed purchasing power benefit that was recently, a couple of years ago, reintroduced by the city is due at the end of this month. And so we are working on it for those members that are impacted by this benefit, where they lose from the day of retirement more than 25% of the purchasing power. And with inflation, increase last year about 6%. We expect that number to have increased at least a little bit. I also wanted to let you know, given the inflation last year, it impacted the 415, the Internal Revenue Code 415 code section limit that we are allowed to pay on an annual basis by 15,000. So since we have been monitoring this limit, has been the highest 1 year increase. And so there are a handful of employees in the police and fire plan that are impacted by this. We are working on the calculations and expect to issue letters to those employees by the end of the month. But this $15,000 increase will mean that some of them may even get the full amount they're entitled to this year, or others they will maybe reduce, they may be receiving less, but nevertheless more than they were receiving in 2021. Lastly, I wanted to let you know, Dave Wilson, a trustee of your board who is at the meeting, was the only employee that reapplied for the position of the trustee for the police. And so the city is working through the process to make sure that they have to actually bring to the city council a resolution to be approved so that he can be officially appointed. In the meantime, as council to your board has reminded us considerably, he remains a trustee until anything else, anything new is decided by the city council. Lastly, Mr. Chair, we do have some vacancies at the office, a couple on the benefit side and a couple of information technology, and we are working diligently through the search process to try to fill those positions as soon as possible. With that, that concludes my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Roberto. Floor is open. Anybody have any questions for Roberto? If not, we've already done item 4C when Chiron went 3B 4C. So Maytech, I have my script in front of me. It's item 4D. Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. As Councilwoman Foley mentioned, Omicron is imminent and around and very contagious. With the backup materials I've provided with you, provides the evidentiary support for this board to meet virtually for the next 30 days. The evidentiary support is one, the ongoing proclamation of state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and number two would be the city council's resolution to continue social distancing in city facilities. If this board adopts those two factual findings by majority vote, it may continue to meet virtually for the next 30 days.
Great,
Back to
thanks,
you,
Mary
Chair.
Tack. Let me go ahead and then incorporate those two into a formal motion, which I'll read and then ask for a second. I'll move that based on the information presented just now by council and provided with our board backup materials, it appears that the following factual findings justify the continuation of these Zoom virtual meetings under AB 361. As Maytag said, number one, the governor's proclamation of a state of emergency continues due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And two, San Jose City Council's recent resolution continues to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing in city facilities. Therefore, I move that we adopt these two factual findings for the election to use the AB 361's abbreviated teleconferencing procedure for the next 30 days for this board. Do I have a second for my motion?
Second, Wilson.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, motion by Lanza, second by Wilson. How do you vote, Sunita?
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Ashvar.
Aye.
Franco.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
And I am Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. As we all know, the lists of retirees in December, January are long. This one, oh God, I'm going to be hoarse with it. This one goes out all the way to T, which is pretty far into a 26-letter alphabet. So without further ado, the retirements of Cheryl C. Acosta, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, with 25.84 years of service. Joseph S. Aditsone, police sergeant, police department, effective January 22nd, 2022, 29.9 years of service with reciprocity. Amador G. Bueno, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22nd, 2022, 27.59 years of service with reciprocity. Scott Burke, fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 9, 2022, 28.96 years of service with reciprocity. James E. Cowan, fire department, fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 8, 2022, 26.69 years of service. Michael Del Bando, fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 24.06 years of service. Chris Harmount, fire inspector, fire department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 27.01 years of service. Paul L. Hickey, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, Jan 22, 2022, 25.82. We had a lot of guys with real service, 25.82 years service. Edward S. Leglu, fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 9, 2022, 27.53 years service. Jose Martinez, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 25.03 years service. Kyle Oakey, police sergeant, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 29.11 years service. Christopher Pueller, fire engineer, fire department, effective Jan 8, 2022, 25.93 years service. Kelvin Pham, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 27.41 years service. Jimmy L. Robnett, police officer, police department, effective Jan 1, 2022, 22.75 years service with reciprocity. Jeff Silva, fire captain, fire department. There's a lot of fire captains retiring. Fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 25.5 years service. William G. Thornton, battalion chief, fire department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 26.89 years service. Barry Torres, police sergeant, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 31.61 years service. Good for you, Barry. Nathan Trang, police officer, police department, Jan 22, 2022, 26.26 years service. Eric C. Westcott, fire captain, fire department, effective Jan 9, 2022, 24.02 years service. And finally, Brian J. Wong, firefighter, fire department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 27.92 years service with reciprocity. I'll entertain a motion to approve these retirements.
Motion, Votto.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Votto and a second by Menon. Sunita, how do you vote? You might be on mute. Sunita, how do you vote?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I vote aye. Yes, please.
Great. Howard?
Yes.
Eshvar?
Aye.
Franco?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And I'm Chair Lanza, I vote aye. For those of you that may be watching this on tape, all you firefighters who retired, Dick, unfortunately, Santos, your retiree trustee, had to go to funeral, and God bless Andrew Gardner, the vice chair, and your active member who's on call because so much of your department is out sick. I'm sure they would say that Andrew would say, I worked for many of you, and Dick would say many of you worked for him. So we hope you enjoy a long retirement. Franco, Dave, anything you want to say?
Yeah, from Wilson. I worked with and around and even for some of the people coming up for retirement or that we approved just now. And they're all outstanding people. And I wish them a very long, long retirement and enjoy it. Well earned.
Great. Sorry, I'm eating. All right, let's do deferred vested. Kevin A. Bond, police officer, police department, effective Jan 22, 2022, 25.84 years of service with reciprocity. I'll move that we approve that. Do we have a second?
Second, Wilson.
As moved, Wilson seconded. Let's go around the table. Sunita, how do you vote?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Eshvar?
Aye.
Franco?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
I'm Chair Lanza, and I vote aye as well. Well, thankfully, we had a month in which a lot of people retired, but thank God not all the folks died. So I will announce these two members that have passed on, and then we'll have a moment of silence. A notification of the death of Neil Jameson, firefighter, retired January 30th, 1993, died November 22nd, 2021, leaving behind no survivorship benefits. A notification of the death of Gary R. Thompson, Sergeant, retired September 11th, 1979, died October 15th, 2021. Good for you, Gary. Nice long retirement. No survivorship benefits. We'll now have a moment of silence. To the family of firefighter Jameson, again, our active and retired members, unfortunately, one's at a funeral, one's on duty. We pass along on behalf of the board and the system our sincerest condolences. Anything you want to say, Frank or Dave, about Gary?
This is Trustee Wilson. To his family and all the people that knew him, again, our sincerest condolences. It looks like he had a good long retirement, and God bless him, and moving on to a better place.
That's great. Nicely said. Thanks, Dave. All right, we are on schedule. We're going to get done a little bit early. That's great. Investment Committee, Eshvar, over to you.
Yes, so we had a meeting on December 17th last month. And the highlights of that, we did analysis of transactions, both foreign exchange and equity transactions, and they look fine. We had an overview of the private markets. It was a pretty comprehensive review. The usual risk overview by Veris, and then the investment policy, which we just discussed here at the board, was also discussed at the investment committee meeting. That was it. And we also, kind of reviewed the manager decisions for the second half. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Ashfar. That's great. Let me note for the record that we will receive and file the minutes of the November 4th and August 22nd, August 26th meetings. Audit Risk Committee, over to you, Sunita.
We only met to approve AB 361. I don't believe we had a meeting in the interim, so nothing to update.
Yeah, I think that's right. So let me, for the record, reflect that we received and filed the minutes of October 21st and November 4th. Governance Committee, over to you, Franco. Might be on
Yeah,
mute.
I think there was might have been a meeting, but I was unable to attend. I was out of town, so I don't know what content was in there, but I'll leave that for Roberto.
Anything to report, Roberto? It doesn't show meetings since our last board.
No, we ended up not having a meeting. We're trying to schedule a meeting, and we're still working on it. It's probably gonna be, I'm gonna guess, if not later this month, February or so, but we're still working on it.
Thanks, Roberto. Thanks,
Thank you.
Franco. Let me note that we received and filed the minutes from the special meeting of November 4th, where we bought ourselves into the 30 days. Disability Committee, I'll go ahead and report since Dick's not here. We had a couple of disabilities that you all approved during the consent calendar. Nothing really to report. The good news, I suppose, the minor report is that we're still in this transition trying to implement what the city council's asked us to do in terms of evaluating disabilities, and we're sort of in the interim patching with band-aids and baling wire and sealing wax. And the good news is the baling wire and sealing wax is working very, very well. So we have full control of the process. We were a little worried there. I think Roberto was too, but that hasn't come to pass. Let me note for the record that we will receive and file the minutes from November 4th and October 12th. Joint Personnel Committee, let me cover that one too. Andrew and Ashfar and I were at that meeting. So there were sort of three things going on, and you see two of them on the agenda. The third was what Prabhu did earlier in the agenda. So the three items were, we got to come up with a governance structure. We elected the chair of the committee, who is from the federated side, and when the JPC meets at noon today, we will elect a vice chair. It'll be one of Andrew or Ashfar or myself. I'm hoping it's you, Ashfar. The second thing we talked about, and we're going to now talk some more about it, is this transition to a more full-blown performance evaluation system, the so-called mock system that we've all taken place in, and the mock then next year becomes the real thing. We sort of practice it this year. That's what mock is. And then, of course, we already approved the other thing. Let me note for the record that we received and filed the minutes of the April 30th meeting. Hey, Roberto, can I turn the mock thing over to you? Do we have them online? I know Yanucci said he couldn't make it.
Yeah, no, he couldn't make it, and we are going to actually be discussing the mock results later after your police and fire board meetings. We have a joint JPC meeting scheduled for after the police and fire meetings.
Okay, so I guess the discussion, I agree. The discussion so far is that at the last JPC meeting, we thought the mock went very well. We gave about a dozen items of feedback, and we will discuss, I'm sure, those things here. So stay tuned. Next month, we'll probably bring it back to the board for, do we need formal approval on that, Roberto?
No, not really. We just want to keep the board apprised. I think the one area that we needed particular approval was moved up to section number 3, which was the request on the compensation study, so that the JPC can move ahead, and that was done already.
Great. So let me have you jump in, Maytech. So we're ending early. How do you want us to proceed? Do you want this board now to go ahead and extend 30 days right now? After I close the meeting.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. You guys have already voted to extend for this board the next 30
Yeah,
days.
so I'm sorry, thank you, Maytech. I mean, once I adjourn this meeting, do you want to go right into the committees being extended?
Yes, that would be great. But before you do that, I do want to open it up for public comment.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll go through the thing. Are there any agenda items anyone wants to propose for next month? Next on the list is, as Maytech suggests, the floor is open. Any public comments? Jump in. Hearing none, this meeting is now adjourned. Our next meeting is February 3rd. Over to you, Maytech.
Okay, thank you very much. And if
Guys,
staff,
I'm sorry, we need a minute to let Civic Center disengage, so give us a quick minute. We'll
okay.
get,
Yep.
the
No worries,
IT
no worries. Let us know when they're ready to go.
Thank you.